Hello and welcome to this tutorial. I'm Mark from Proseniq, and in this chapter we're going to take a look at the ConsoleControlMode2 of the Proseniq LiveBridge. First step is we're going to connect our MIDI device. In my case it's the SMC mixer. Then we start the ConsoleControlMode2. Now we're going to see here three windows. First window is settings, later the fader mapping and the lock window. We're going to start in the settings, and here we have to adjust the connection to the .2, the IP address and the password. So let's take a look at the .2. Here the important thing is that we go to settings, network interface, that we're going to use the same IP address as the .2. In my case, I'm going to use the loopback interface. Then I'm going to go to global settings. Here WebRemote must be on, and here's the IP address again. And then I'm going to change the WebRemote password to 1234. Okay, escape. And the same thing now in our ConsoleControlMode2, IP address 127.0.0.1, and the password is 1234 in my case. Going to apply this, and now I already can take a look if it's connecting. And we can see here it is connected. Next step, we're going to go to the window fader. In the window fader, we're going to select the MIDI device we would like to configure. In this case, the SMC mixer. If MIDI is stopped, we're going to start it. And here we got two modes. We got the edit mode, that's for mapping, and there's no output to the WebRemote. Or we can go to the live mode, then editing is disabled and the live output is active. Okay, let's go to edit mode. Here I would like to start with the level fader. Here you see the fader for executor 1 to 22. If I scroll to the right side, it stops here at 22. Take in mind that the .2 is counting right to left. So here the lower faders are on the right side and the higher faders on the left side. I would like to map here the first fader wing. It's fader number 7 to fader number 14. These 8 faders. Now we're gonna start here with our fader number 7. I click learn and move the fader. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14. Let's do the same thing with the button number 1. Let's say this one will be button number 1. And button number 2. Now we also can go to the executor button 101 to 108, and here 201 to 208, or in our case 107 to 114 and 27 to 214. Let's start here with the upper row. This means we have to start here, learn, click. And let's go the other way. Now we got our fader wing 1 assigned. Let's go here and turn to live mode. We make sure that MIDI is on and that we are still connected. We're going to take a look at our .2. I'm going to turn off here the numbers. The first thing, we have to reset one time the faders. And now they're synchronized. And we can start working here with the faders. Let's turn them off. Let's try here the play button. Play button is working. We're gonna reset them. Doing the same with the flash button. And they're working. Let's do the same here on the upper part with the executor buttons. There are toggle buttons. And as you see, they're working fine as well. We're gonna go back to the LiveBridge, to the CCM2 mode. And now we take a look here at the encoder control. I'm gonna go again to Edit. And here you got the 4 encoders. There are 2 possibilities. You can assign real encoders to them, or if your physical mixing device doesn't have any encoders, you also can change to fader and potty mode and assign faders and potties to the encoders. Let's start with this. And it's the same thing. We're gonna hit the learn button, move one time the potty or fader, and they're assigned. If you're not sure if you got a encoder or a fader, go and turn on the MIDI monitor. Here you can see what's going into the desk. And you see, you move it from 0 to 127. This is a fader or a potty. The faders and potties are working the way, if you're in the 12 o'clock position, there's no movement in the dot 2. The more you turn to the left, it's decreasing the signal. And the more you turn to the right, it's increasing the signal. Well, let's take a look here. My potties, there is no 12 o'clock position. There's no sign, no mark for it. So I'm gonna use the MIDI monitor to reset it one time. Should be about 60. Next one also about 60. And also about 60. Now I'm gonna go back to live mode and to the dot 2. Let's choose one fixture. We go to dimmer. And now we can turn up the dimmer. We can stop it, make it slower. Slowly turning down. Slow movement. The more I turn to the left, the faster it gets. Turning to the right, it's increasing. And turning to the 12 o'clock position, it's stopping. If you got real encoders on your console, I got here a mapping on my console. I can switch to encoder mode. Now the knobs are working as encoders. I'm gonna open the MIDI monitor, and now you see on the left turn it's 65 the value, and on the right turn it's a repetitive value of 1. So this is definitely an encoder. I'm gonna turn it to encoder mode. Do again the learning. Go back to live mode. And now you got a real encoder feeling. When you stop, it stops. You turn left, it goes left. You turn right, it goes right. You turn fast, it's fast. And you move slowly, it's slowly. Now there's a very important thing on the dot 2. The LiveBridge is working with the WebRemote protocol of the dot 2. So you won't have a fader control one-to-one to the console, like an original console. You only got the same control as the WebRemote. And here is the encoder help, that you can see how this is assigned. If the chosen attribute is dimmer, the first encoder is dimmer. If you choose the position, then it's pan tilt. The color is very special. Here's color 1, RGB 1, 2, and 3, which is RGB. Beam is shutter, iris, frost, and effect index rotation. Here you got some gobos and some focus mode. Let's make an example. I got here the pointy in mode 1. At the moment here, this encoder is assigned to the dimmer. If I switch to the attribute position, it changes to pan and this to tilt. Here in gobo mode, it's gobo 1. Here it would be gobo rotation. Here it's the second gobo wheel, and this is the second gobo rotation. Now the big difference is the color mode. For example, if we go to the color picker, then it's not working the way we expect. It's not only changing the hue, it's also the brightness. Here it's not a saturation. As we've seen before, here it is controlling color R, G, and B. We can make this if we go here to okay, it's a pointy. The pointy only got here a color wheel. So we're adjusting the color wheel with the first encoder. Next thing that we can assign, we got some macros. Here we can assign directly macros. For example, I'm gonna use this one here. This will be assigned to macro number 1. I have to go to the edit mode. Macro 1, macro 2, and macro number 3. Go to the dot 2. Let's take a look at the macros. I want to clear everything first. Select a fixture. And macro 1 would be increase of 5%. I think I'm still in edit mode. Yeah, I have to go back to the live mode. And now we can increase 5%, firing macro number 1, and here firing macro number 2. Let's go back again. And the last thing here in the mapping is the fader page control. As I said before, this LiveBridge is working with the WebRemote protocol of the dot 2. This means you got the same limitations as the original WebRemote protocol. If you are here and you change your page, then the faders are not following. The faders are always firing on page 1 in this case, until you change the fader page here from the application. You can change it here with the page control. There's a possibility to activate a floating button. This floating button, for example, you can put here. And now it's changing the page and also the page on the LiveBridge. You also got the possibility to assign this fader control to a button. Let's say button, I go here. I assign this to this button and here to that button. Then I'm gonna turn on here live mode, go again, and now you can see you can control the page change. And the very last thing is we got some comments. Where are they? I think they're a bit down. Here, a few programmer comments. For example, you can adjust the highlight. Let's do this quickly. Highlight, previous, next. Here's the blind mode. And here you get a possibility, a quick access to the attributes. Let's go to the live mode. To the dot 2. Let's say I'm gonna select all of them. I go to highlight. And now I can go through the fixtures with the previous and next button. Deactivate highlight again. Also have to clear. Now I can activate, deactivate. And the last thing is the blind button. Now here I'm activating blind with the MIDI console. We're gonna go back to LiveBridge. So mapping is done. Here you got the possibility to clear all mapping, to save a mapping profile and load a mapping profile. And finally here the last window is a log window. Here you can show the log. You can record the log and export the log. I recommend to leave it off all the time because the log needs a lot of resources, making the system very slow.